Physio Exchange with myself and Wade. Today we're going to be discussing expectations of rehabilitation and management. What I've noticed in the practice over the past couple of years is that patients will come in and say they've been to another healthcare practitioner and they received exercises. Some might be 2-3 exercises, some might be a page of exercises. They say they do the exercise for maybe a week, but they do feel like they were progressing and then they stop those exercises. Wade, what would your advice to the patient be with regards to time frame and realistic expectations of rehab and management of progressions, etc.?
So I think this is where a huge responsibility falls on us in the education of an athlete or a patient, and explaining to them it is muscle, or it is tendon, or it is ligament, or it is bone. This is what research shows healing time. So we guide them through the process of understanding, like, this is worst case scenario, this is best case scenario. Everyone's different, so you might heal sooner or take a little bit longer and things like that, so that they understand the parameters of healing. It's not always the case that if I say 6 weeks that you can only go back to sports in 6 weeks, but it's a measured approach to how we load it, that we can do a little bit more the closer we get to the tissue that we're treating being healed. So for me, a big part is educating that athlete in understanding what the pathology is and the healing time on that pathology. And then also, very importantly for me, is that they understand that it takes work. It takes, like, for example, if the issue is weakness, I can't give you strength, I can't give you control. And research shows that it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for muscle adaptation to occur for a certain type of load. If your patient or athlete is only doing 3 days or 4 days of work and then realizing but nothing's happening and stops, then they're stopping just before it actually creates a difference.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is that patients think that have these exercises and that's the only exercises that they need to do. We need to understand that we need to progress these exercises, increase load, change the load, a little bit more specific load perhaps, but we can't just stick with the same few exercises that we receive maybe in the initial phase of the rehabilitation. It's constantly changing through the recovery as well.
100%. To touch on that is like the amount of load we give you is the amount of irritability of the condition at that time. So I can't give you single leg hops if walking on that area irritates it. So the load we're giving you in the initial phases is to progress in that phase, and then to go back to running you require more capacity of load in that area. So
building blocks,
and ticking boxes, not only time-based criteria.
And then I think on the opposite spectrum is that you can say, well, I can't give you 10 exercises to do right now. Sorry guys, my voice is struggling a little bit today. But I can't give you 10 exercises to do because you're not capable of that load. I have come across patients where they were given exercises that weren't appropriate for that stage of healing or recovery. And we've actually had to dial it back and say, cut out those exercises, they're too advanced for this stage. We need to backtrack and make it a little bit more basic or simpler for you to do.
Awesome. Would you like to summarize what we covered today?
No way, you can summarize.
Okay, so basically education, very important, giving them the healing times for the pathology, and then the load you get is the load that you are able to handle in that phase, the initial phase, and then carrying on, and then adaptation to load anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. But obviously this education has been given to the patient that, listen here, this is the first phase, let's first get through this, so I feel that sometimes athletes don't know, or patients don't know what the plan is, so it's our responsibility to lay down that roadmap. So I think that covers it.
Yes, I think so too.
Awesome. Guys, we hope that was helpful. Please join us next time on the Physio Exchange. If you have a question, please go to the website, drop us a question on the podcast link. Thanks, guys.
you.